artists. So last week we started talking about space and we learned about the positive and the negative space. So now we're going to start looking at landscapes and noticing how we create depth or space in a picture. Like, why do things look really far away or small, but things that are really up close look huge? All right, so let's take a look at this picture. This is a landscape picture, which means a picture of something outside. So what do you see that is far away? What do you see that is up close? This is how artists make their landscape pictures look realistic, and we call it perspective. Let's now look at more.
Today we're going to talk about perspective and how to use that with form. Perspective is divided into three different areas. First, we have the foreground, then the middle ground, and lastly, we have the background. Let's start with foreground to begin. The foreground is the front part of the picture, often at the bottom, and typically stands out first to the viewer. In this image, the red flowers are in the foreground. Not only are they brighter in color, but they are also larger and in front of the building. How about with this image? Which object is in the foreground and why? Next, let's look at the background. This is the furthest object from the viewer and the image that is behind all others. In this image, it is the buildings. Notice that they are behind all other objects within the picture. Where is the background in this image? If you said the mountains, then you are correct. Lastly, we have the middle ground. This is the area that lies between the foreground and the background. If you can find your foreground and background, you should have no problem in locating your middle ground. So let's look at one last example. Take a minute to distinguish what is your foreground and the background, and then the middle ground in this image. Notice the shoes. They're larger in scale and in front of everything else in the image. This is your foreground. Next, the background. The trees, the house, and the street lamp are in the background. They're behind everything else. Lastly, we have the boy. He is between the shoes and the trees. Therefore, he is your middle ground. An element that is crucial in deciding where the three grounds are located is overlapping. Without this, everything would be even in the image and feel flat, as seen in the image on the right. Overlapping, as seen in the image on the left, is where one image is partially covering the other, allowing the illusion that one object is in front of the other. Another way to show perspective and distinguish foreground from background is size variation. This is a technique for showing something is farther or closer. Items that are to appear closer to the viewer should be much larger in size, and something further away should be much smaller. Notice the difference here? If they were the same size, then they would look similar in depth or out of place.
All right, so let's take another look at that picture. So where would you say the foreground is? Well, I would say probably these rocks or this big tree because it's the biggest object and it's also the closest. Where would the background be? I would say probably these trees back here or the sky. Okay, that's where the background, that's the furthest away. So that means that everything in the middle is the middle ground, like this water or this little canoe right here. There's one part that the video didn't explain, and that's this line that you see right here. That's an important piece in all landscapes because that line divides where the sky meets and the ground. Okay, we call that a horizon line. Okay, because that's where the horizon is. All right, so today we have a workbook sheet all about landscapes. So grab that and I'm going to walk you through how to do this. Okay, so all you need today is your workbook and a pencil. All right, and we are going to be filling out this side and this side of the worksheet. So let me walk you through it. Okay, so you're going to follow the directions. So draw a horizon line in the correct place. So you are using this picture for these questions. Okay, so draw the horizon line. So where would it go? You are going to draw it. Match the letter in the correct space on the painting. So A is middle ground. So which of these boxes would you say is A? Okay, so you're going to put the letter in the box. Okay, where's the foreground? Where's the background? Use these boxes. What is the name of the line that divides the sky from the ground? Is it a radial line, a horizon line, a backdrop line? You're going to circle it. Okay. This is a blank painting. So, is it a portrait, a sculpture, or a landscape? Okay, circle your answer. Is it realistic or abstract? Ooh, now we're going back a ways. So it's talking about this picture. Is it realistic or is it abstract? Okay. So write the word that goes with each letter. So we're using these letters. So A, what part is it pointing to? Is it the foreground, the middle ground, the background, and the horizon line? So you're going to write what you think it is, where the letter A is. Okay. B, what part is this for the word bank? You're going to write the letter. Okay. So it shouldn't take you too long. You're doing both sides. You're going to photograph both sides and then share them back to me in the Google Classroom. All right. So this week's kind of an easy lesson, just learning about landscapes and the different parts to them, because next week we're going to be making our own landscapes with birch trees. This is one of my favorite projects, and I've been so excited to do this with you finally. Okay, so next week we are going to need some supplies. So if you can get some black paint and a piece of cardboard, probably about the size of a credit card. Okay, I just found this off of my Sharpie boxes. You could use cereal box. Okay, so if you can maybe start trying to locate these items, it's going to make next week's project so much easier. All right, so get those 2 worksheets back to me through the assignment, and I will be seeing you next week. All right, bye guys.